Welcome back to the studio. I know it probably seems like it's been a long time, and it has. I can't really talk about the absence without talking about me, which is something I don't usually do. But the studio and myself are woven together, sort of like a fine tapestry. As many of you may have heard me talk in the past, um, about my mother came to live with me after my father passed away, and she was here with me for about 2 years. During that time, she and I were looking for a new place, a new house. The house that we live in here is a colonial two-story, and it isn't very handicap accessible. And so for 2 years, we were really looking for basically a ranch style house. But around the beginning of last year, my mom her health started to decline, and it was harder and harder for me to get out to the studio. Um, and then around May, things really went downhill. Um, and long story short, uh, we finally found a house, as it turned out, and we closed on a house on a Monday, and my mom passed away on that same Friday. So that started off a whole series of events, and the first part of it was that I had to go through two storage pods and a storage unit. That took 3 months of my mother's things and sort all of that out. And then there was all of the taxes and estates and funerals and arranging my family to come and stay here with me, which wasn't so bad. We were probably one of the last times we'll all be together. And then it started the onslaught of the renovation of the house that we bought. One of the funny things was that all the neighbors at the new house said, "Oh, rip that carpeting up. You've got beautiful hardwood floors. We all had beautiful hardwood floors." And the carpeting had stains on it. So we ripped the carpeting up in the whole house. But the whole house just had plywood floors. So we set out to put hardwood floors throughout the house, and that took a lot longer than we thought. And also the kitchen was very outdated. Also, all the counters were all different heights. They were, I don't know what was the deal with that, but there weren't very many level planes. And also, some of you may have heard me say that I like to cook. I like to bake especially. So we took out the old kitchen and we put in a new kitchen. But that brings us to today. I have recently put in a permit for finishing the basement out. And the basement will be the new studio that we will be inhabiting. And part of the videos that we'll be doing will be the process of redoing or creating that studio. There's a lot that goes into that. The choices about why I wanted to do that. I have been wanting to have a ranch style house with a basement for the studio for a long time, and I see this all the time on Facebook boards where people talk about the pros and cons of having a studio in a garage. Some people have a she shed in their backyard. People convert dining rooms or have additions built on. Some people do basements, and there are all kinds of conversations about which is which. Some people hate some options, and some people like them. But I will talk about all of the decisions that I made. as I said, my home here is a colonial. It's a two-story, and this carriage house is in the backyard. It's 2 stories. There's no bathroom here in the carriage house, so I had originally thought about putting a bathroom in, but I just never got to that point. I renovated for 7 years and then I gave out. Um, so in order to go to the bathroom originally, if I was upstairs, I'd have to go downstairs to the house and then back upstairs. So in the winter, when it's cold and you have to go to the bathroom a lot, it was exhausting. So I wanted a house that was all in one unit, not two separate buildings. So that was one part. So I've been wanting to move for at least 10 years. And then when my mom came up, it became necessary to have a handicap accessible house. Um, and I wanted to be able to just come upstairs if I needed to. And I also wanted all of my stuff out of her way, all together. And so I really, myself, wanted the idea of a basement studio. Um, the entire size of my basement is about 1,300 square feet, but I will need to cordon off some sections of the basement for the laundry room, for the AC furnace. There's also a 4x4 CBS block section that holds up the fireplace of in the living room. And there's a stairwell. And I'm also reserving a small place for a possible bathroom, just like for a toilet and a sink. The house already has 2 full showers, and one of them has a shower bath, so I don't need another shower downstairs. But anyway, it's been a very long process of getting all of these things done. And there's a ton of stuff I could talk about. And it just seems like the time has gone so fast from now till then. And we're still really just in the process of moving. We didn't actually move into the house until just before Christmas, a few days before Christmas, even though we bought the house in May. That's how long it took us just to get the house livable. So we have put in the permits for the basement. I've arranged for air conditioning man to come add additional ductwork because ductwork, AC, and heating are what make a basement space considered to be a living space. And so that will happen this week. I had to go ahead and order all of the supplies, from the lumber to the drywall to the insulation, just in case the tariffs went through, to save 25%. Lumber comes from Canada, and though we make drywall here in the United States, the lime and gypsum that it's made out of comes from Mexico. So whether they go through or not, I went ahead and had to order all of that at once, just in case, because I can't afford that big of an additional expense. So that basically brings us up to today, where we've been. So how things are going to proceed from now until the studio is finished, I will be making a variety of videos. Some of them will still be made here, but I will need to be breaking the studio down because this house has to be sold. Some of the videos, though, are going to be on the whole process of creating a studio, finishing out a space, a lot of the decisions that go into creating a studio, lighting and storage, even the planning of where to put the machine, as well as what I like to do. You've heard me. Some of the safety things about a studio, In my case, I had to put, well, I didn't have to, I wanted to put egress windows in the basement. I put 2 in, but there's safety things that are important if you're planning on being in a basement for a while. Also added a great deal of light to make the basement feel less claustrophobic. But there'll be videos about that process, maybe some road trips for quilt shows, some of my favorite things that I've made. So there'll be a wider variety of videos for the next few months. There will be some videos shot from the studio here still, and but again, the studio down here will eventually have to be broken down, and it may have to happen before the other one is complete. Certainly upstairs I won't be filming anymore because oh my gosh. The upstairs is where I've stored all my fabric. Excuse me. And even prior to my mom passing, I had just been running upstairs and grabbing something and running back to the house so I could work on it in the house, or sitting in the room with her. I would run through and tear through a bin or push stuff out of the way. And there's a lot of stuff up there, I have to admit. So it's a madhouse up there. And I don't know about you, but I couldn't let anyone even help me go up there and clean, because only I recognize the fabric of what goes with what project, what pattern goes with what fabric kit, what book and what ruler needs to go with what collection of fabrics. So it's my mess, and I'm the only one that's going to be able to clean that up. But what I try to do every time I come over to the house to do something is to take a carload of stuff over. And we haven't rented a moving van at all. We've basically moved everything over to the house so far with just my car and a little short truck, a little small cab truck. Just making small trips, and we only have, I think, two small pieces of furniture left to move. And also, we're downsizing. The new place the upstairs is 1,600 square feet, and as a combined here, I have 3,500 square feet. That's also one of the reasons why I needed to move. I physically could not take care of the yard and both buildings anymore. So the new place is a brick house. It's not even half as old as this. It's in really great shape. We did have to do the repairs, we put in a new air conditioning and stuff, but it's in great shape. So when it's done, I will have a lot more free time and a lot less to worry about as far as the house is concerned. So that's where I have been. That's where the studio has been. And really just getting back to the point where I was able to talk about it. So that's really, I guess, it for today. We will try to be back on track for doing a video approximately once a week, and that will be our goal. May or may not always be on the same day, and it certainly will be a much wider range of topics than what we have done in the past. And if you have any questions, you could certainly put them, add a comment on there, and be thinking about comments about creating a studio space, or comments about creating a studio in the garage in a basement, in addition, anything that you've wanted to ask or thought about when when you have thought about creating a space of your own. Now, I want to say that I know that it's a luxury to be able to have a studio uh, the size of mine. I know many people have to, uh, sew on the dining room table or sew in a very small office space or uh, you know a very makeshift apartment or something. And I acknowledge that that is difficult. But I also will say that really amazing work comes out of very small spaces like that. Paula Nadelstern in New York lives in a very small New York apartment, and she makes incredible kaleidoscope quilts that I'm sure you've seen her fabric, her books, and her quilts. So it certainly doesn't limit the creativity or your ability to have a small workspace. Um, and I also live, in the Midwest America, where real estate isn't as expensive as it is in some places. So I acknowledge all of those things. Um, I want to thank you for your time today and for your patience. And I acknowledge that this is more about me than about the studio itself per se. But I just wanted to let you know where we have been and where we're heading in the future. And we look forward to seeing you next week here at the studio.